It's the most wonderful time of the year, and the time leading up to it was filled with commercials, TV specials, and toy store propaganda, with one goal: for companies to have the most desired toy on your Christmas list. For the gift givers, it would be chaos trying to obtain that holy grail of a toy every parent was after.
Only the hottest selling Christmas toy ever!
As it would make or break Christmas. In this Eds Retro Geek Out, we take a look at a selection of toys that made us jingle all the way. So be sure to subscribe for more 80s and 90s toy content.
Let's strap in
for some toy history.
Holiday shopping season is also one of the peak selling seasons for retailers, so you can be sure they would do anything to get you aboard the hype train for their next product launch. It would be a big payday for toy companies and an indication on which toy lines they needed to continue and which ones would be ready to get cancelled. There's no exact formula to create the top-selling toy, and what if it does and these stocking stuffers turn into a supply chain nightmare? We go out and buy gifts because it's tradition, just like those blinking lights put a smile on your face. Coming together and exchanging gifts is just what we've grown accustomed to. And then there's also the gifts that the man up north drops off on Christmas Eve. But there were actually a few gift-bearing figures from history where Santa got his inspiration from. We all celebrate a holiday derived from a birthday, but if there's toys in it for me, I'll celebrate anything. Santa, however, isn't the only one. In parts of Europe, we celebrate Saint Nicholas, Père Noël, Christkind, or Sinterklaas. The last one we actually celebrate on the 6th of December. He's pretty much the G1 Santa, known for his care for children and generosity as he gives gifts to everyone who has been nice all year. He'd go from roof to roof bringing toys and other presents down the chimney. That meant mom and dad could give us gifts during Christmas. And in Austria, St. Nicholas comes with Krampus, but you kinda wanna steer away from that one. For kids, Christmas doesn't start in December. It starts when you just got over your Halloween sugar rush. Like clockwork, they'd come dropping in the mail. Toy catalogs. Every country had their own, and everyone has good memories flipping through them.
By the end of the year, the toy catalogs from toy companies, toy stores in my country start dropping on the mat.
Now, every toy you could wish for was featured in these. Even the non-toy things like bedsheets you knew you'd get at one point. A collection of products retailers signed off on at Toy Fair and stacked their shelves with the hope that the cartoon, comics, or movie would do well. Very well.
There were so many cool toy commercials on a Saturday morning cartoon show called Fun Factory on Sky Channel, and during the holiday season those commercials instantly became more interesting.
Garfield and Friends, Inspector Gadget, Ninja Turtles, all that stuff, those blocks, that's the bread and butter. That's when you want to attack the children. And I was a victim of these predatory acts by the marketing and toy industry. Big toy, big action figure, they got me. I was hooked because I was tuned in, buddy, and I was watching everything. Put it in my brain like, this is something you want, this is something you need. Beat up your parents over it, because if they don't get it for you, they are the worst people on the earth, and you should divorce from them.
And I also remember Christmas specials from that era. There was this one from Filmation, He-Man and She-Ra's Christmas special, and that was just amazing to watch.
Tell me more about this Christmas.
I don't know what came first, like chicken or the egg, right? Was it the commercials that garnered my interest first, or was it the Sears Wish catalog?
Looking back, the Christmas toy catalogs were genius.
Full of those glossy, beautiful pages, 360-page Bible that is the Sears wish list. Just chock full of toys and video games, which is all I wanted as a kid. That's probably the only book I read, honestly, every year, was that wish list. And it had everything on there, like Transformers, G.I. Joe, every 80s and 90s toy line that we're chasing after nowadays, that was available to you, and that was the best.
The missing piece between parents and the kid that had to explain what they wanted, hoping it wouldn't end up being a knockoff.
This is what I want, visually. Like, I'm literally circling it for you, Don't mess this up.
But with so much being offered, of course you have to narrow it down. So how did you make your Christmas list?
Picking out what I wanted for Christmas was always a struggle because I knew that I couldn't go super crazy, but the like Sears catalog, JC Penney's catalog always helped me kind of narrow down my choices.
Here in the UK, we had a company called Argos, and you had the infamous, famous Argos catalogue. Kids growing up in the 80s, kids growing up in the 90s, probably kids in the early 90s will all have fond memories of when that Christmas catalogue came out, sitting in the front room writing your Christmas list, circling in red pen what Christmas gifts you want.
I started with an overall inspection of every toy store's toy inventory as shown in those catalogs, and then did a second inspection, this time making notes in the catalogs. And phase 3 was fine-tuning to create the perfect wish list for this year's Christmas.
I would always love to go and circle what I wanted. It was mostly Star Wars, Real Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Masters of the Universe, all the greatest toy lines from the 80s.
Every year some toys would top these lists and become bestsellers, but it ain't always what you think that would end up on top. Of course you had Star Wars toys at the end of the 70s, then there's Lego train set Strawberry Shortcake in 1981. It was the Rubik's Cube. How? Well, it sold over 350 million units. What, were they making houses of these Rubik's Cubes? And a year earlier the game Hungry Hippos topped the Christmas list charts.
Yeah, 1980s Hungry Hippos. How cool to see that being a bestseller in 1980. Such a fun game. I saw it in every toy catalog. Never owned the game, but always thought it was fun.
Now, maybe not all of these toys stood the test of time, but what are the ones we remember endlessly waiting for as we anticipated for Christmas Eve or morning to come? Of course, we did everything in our power to get those presents unwrapped as quickly as possible.
The only thing I really latch on to Christmas, memory-wise, is that I was a little sneak. I used to play all these tricks to try to, guess what was there, squeezing boxes, oh, this box is soft, it's closed, I don't want it. Trying to peel back a little bit on the tape to get a glimpse of what the box art looked like, to get an idea, or shaking things.
Like 5 o'clock in the morning, annoying your parents.
I would literally change every clock in the house.
And me waking everyone up in the house to go downstairs and open presents from Santa. Absolutely loved it.
Oh, it's midnight, let's go, it's Christmas technically.
One of the biggest crazes that would go down in history would have to be Coleco's Cabbage Patch dolls. When the demand and the lack of inventory didn't match up, the footage is insane on how they would try to get these. You thought Black Friday was crazy, this was 80s monsters going at it with no holding back the scalpers or whatsoever. But around the same time, He-Man and Skeletor were on every kid's mind that had the power.
All-time favorite memory from when I was a child, I got some Christmas money. My mom and my aunt brought me to the store and I wanted to get Masters of the Universe figures. So we're in line checking out, I got my figures. I am through the roof, I am super excited at this point, and all of a sudden, I stopped and I said, "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power!" And they said that I ran straight for this big soda display, with all my might. I guess I was going to try to take it out because apparently I turned to He-Man, and they had to run. They said everything was in slow motion. They had to run and grab me so I wouldn't knock over that display. So my mom and aunt, they tell that story all the time. So I would have to say that would be up there.
Another favorite Christmas, I got a MOTU figure that year, and I got this box with a green dragon inside. Tried to make up what it was, and then I saw it was Warlock from the Black Star cartoon series, and he had glow-in-the-dark teeth, and I used my He-Man figures to ride him because I didn't have any other Black Star figures at the time. Over the years, I lost that dragon, so that's the toy that got away from me, and one day I will be reunited with that Warlock again. Still on the chase for that.
It may be the most addictive toy in history, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas. Nintendo video games.
1988, that Christmas, I got the NES action set, and that blew my mind. I didn't think I was going to get it, and lo and behold, Santa delivered.
I don't know if I ever got really wrapped up in any of those Christmas crazes. It was everything that I really focused on had more to do with video game launches and system launches. Like Sega Dreamcast, $99.99 had to be there. Nintendo 64.
In 1985, the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System was introduced, wiping away the video game crash from a couple years earlier. Games were back on lists everywhere, and here to stay with every console sticking around longer than most toy lines. Alongside other high-tech toys like Teddy Ruxpin or Laser Tag, these were fighting for market share and a spot on your Christmas list, trying to knock off the Transformers and Ghostbusters, who were already fighting their own villains to remain in the front display. G.I. Joe sent out new troops every year just to keep up, and even had a front overseas.
One of the best Christmases was the year 1988. I still remember G.I. Joe was a big thing that year in the Netherlands, and that was the year I got a Cobra Stun, and I got this beauty of a bird, the Cobra Rattler. How cool is that? One of my favorite memories of one of those bestsellers was Transformers. I just saw the Double Feature cartoon episode, The Key to Factor Sigma, and they introduced us with two new teams, the Stunticons and the Aerial Bots, and I wanted those the moment I saw them. So my wish list for that Christmas was get the complete Stunticon team, and I remember opening the packages when it was Christmas, and with each box or gift I opened, I got one step closer to combine all the Stunticons into Manosaur to get the complete team, and that's one of my highlights, toy-wise, of that Christmas.
I definitely always had a good mix of action figures and video games on my Christmas list. And the Nintendo Christmas phenomenon was only amplified by the release of the Game Boy, which every kid got.
I remember at one point my parents gave me the option. They were like, hey, you can have a brand new bicycle or a Game Boy. And I chose Game Boy.
Game Boy, because obviously the Game Boys were big in the 90s. I got the Game Boy for my birthday, but I remember getting a Star Wars game to go with it on Christmas. So it was stuff like that, which was always amazing.
Your Christmas list also had you shooting for the stars. Some things that were advertised made you wonder, was I really that good this year? But you had to take a chance because you just might get it. I remember wishing upon a star one year. Even though they were the best-selling toy of 1990, in 1992, Turtle Mania was still going strong. I remember having a nice collection of good guys and villains, but I was missing something. A playset. Now this was not just something I was gonna get from any good old-fashioned trip to the toy store, casually picking up an action figure. A playset, this was a big undertaking, trying to get this in my humble toy collection back then. And then Christmas rolled around the corner and I got to open up an epic box with the Sewer Lair playset in it. I guess you could say it was a turtle Christmas that year.
It's Christmas Eve and all my friends are here.
No, not like that one. I mean, everything I asked for was turtles, so I remember getting the turtle copter and a figure or two that year alongside this sewer playset. There's nothing more perfect than opening up that toy you had wanted for so long and it being there in the palm of your hand. Fast forward to the mid-90s and one of the last great toy lines would be introduced to kids all over the world.
Like these two bad boys here.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers cast a spell that would have us captivated like the Green Ranger under Rita Repulsa.
Now over in Ireland in Christmas, probably in 94, I would say 95, my older brother bought me Dragon Zord and Green Ranger figures for Christmas. I was buzzing. Again, my favourite Ranger all the way from a little kid back in the 90s. Loved Dragon Zord. You might think, well, I'm using these two as props. These two are those two toys from that video. Missing stickers, but this is the Dragon Zord and this is the Green Ranger from that clip, and it's been in my collection the whole time. I've never got rid of it. I'll never replace it. I could have quite easily replaced them with better ones, complete ones, but they don't mean anything to me. The Christmas gift Green Ranger and Dragon Zord is what means the world to me.
For us vintage toy collectors, it seems like reliving Christmas morning every time we look at our collections.
Yeah, I don't know, Ed. I mean, I don't remember getting any of these things for Christmas, but I love them now, and I want them now. But like, you know, Teddy Ruxpin you talked about, Power Rangers, Transformers, like Ghostbusters, TMNT. I have them now, dang it. I don't need to talk about Christmas as a kid. I am a spoiled little brat. It's Christmas now, baby! I'm the ghost of Christmas future! Or present!
We buy for the nostalgia of these magical moments Santa and her parents gave us, hoping to one day trickle that magic down to our own kids, right? Now, I wonder what great Christmas memories you guys have, so be sure to leave them down in the comments below. I hope to see you in the next video, so be sure to subscribe for more 80s and 90s toy videos. If you like what you saw, then definitely leave a thumbs up and check out the channels that collaborated on this video. Not Another Retro Channel, Chasing 80s Toys, Empire Toys, and let's not forget Greco Fabulous.
How dare you?
Super big thanks to everybody supporting me on the Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Good holiday season, Happy New Year.
See you later, guys. Bye.